Welcome to Empowering Plans, a show dedicated to identifying waste and undue expense in the health benefits industry, discovering ways to maximize benefits while minimizing costs, and empowering employers, administrators, and consultants to emphasize, once again, the benefit in benefit plan. Today's episode is brought to you by the FIA Group, empowering plans since 1999. Now here are your hosts, the FIA Group's own CEO, Adam Russo, and Senior Vice President and General Counsel, Ron Peck.
And Brady.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Empowering Plans with the FIA Group. I am your co-host, Adam Russo, the CEO and co-founder of the company. And as you can see, somebody's missing. No, Ron didn't get a face transplant. Ron is, this is a younger, not better-looking version, definitely not smarter, but definitely a younger version of Ron Peck. It's our ever-increasing host, Brady Bizarro. Say hello, Brady.
Hello, Brady.
So, folks, Ron's not here. Hopefully, Ron will be back pretty soon. But, Ron needs a break, long-deserved break. What did you say, Brady?
Yeah, I think so.
That's all you have to say is 3 words. Yes, no, 4. I think so. That's it.
He needs a break. I
You are
agree.
not the best co-host in the industry for nothing. You've seen the movie Major League.
I have.
As you can tell, I'm a very big Indians fan. In the movie Major League, that's the Bob Uecker's co-host, literally says nothing the entire time, and that's why he's the best co-host. I feel very similar to that with Brady because, to be honest, I don't really need a co-host to do this job, but I got someone here. So, folks, if you notice, Brady, you want to talk a little bit about the swag you have on the table and what it reflects, or
So yeah, I think there's a baseball theme here. I kept in line here with my little Red Sox beanie, and we've run 10 games in a row so far, the hottest team in baseball. I'll just say
cares.
that.
Yep.
But also,
Ron and I don't care. Okay,
right? Get the Mets over there. But I thought it's also important to bring in some of the political swag I had. This hat in particular, I think, is worth discussing because we actually had this made at FIA last year. Make self-funding great again. I don't know if you can see it there from the camera angle.
Just so you know, I actually wore that hat once, and I got things thrown at me because it automatically people assume it means that you're a Trump supporter because you have Make America Great Again, not self-funding. So I go, listen, it says self-funding. But I think we chose the wrong color hat. If it was any other color, I think I'd be fine. But now I'm afraid to put the hat on. Otherwise, at least in the communist nation of Massachusetts, you cannot wear that hat in this. You want to just lift it up for the camera?
Sure,
so
yeah.
See? You can't wear this hat in this state unless you are willing to die for it. So, and I'm not willing to die for that hat. So,
at the time, it was a good phrase. We put a little play on it. So that's what that's about. And I got just a little bit of Churchill there because he's the man. And I don't have any bobbleheads, but I did have a I guess it's kind of a bobblehead of President Trump, but just some inspiration for us as we go.
very
So
good.
that's my swag. That's what I got.
So, folks, recently we had a webinar, our highest ever viewed webinar. And I want to make sure, I knew you were going to bring it up, so I'm going to bring it up first. It was the highest watched, listened to webinar in FIA Group's history. It's not a coincidence that Ron Peck wasn't there for the high, because I know one time I wasn't around, and it was the highest rated webinar ever, and they kept telling me how I wasn't there, yet they still had the highest rating. So I want to make sure that Ron, who I know is watching this, knows that we did that with Chris Aguiar.
Yeah, I think it's because, it's weird because the weather's really nice out, so why are people inside listening? But a lot's happening in the news world, in the political world, and that matters for our industry. The Supreme Court pick that happened on Monday, so there's a lot to talk about there. People are very excited about association health plans, and we can talk some about that today on this podcast. But I'll defer to you first because I know you've got a burning issue to talk about.
Well, the way we typically do these blogs or vlogs, is that what it's called, a vlog?
I think it's a vlog.
By the way, I didn't give a shout out to Pat Santos. Pat's right there off camera. Trust me, you don't want him on camera. Pat's right there, though. Say hello, Pat. He's waving to the camera, but even though, again, nobody can see him. The point is, the key thing we try to do on these podcasts is based on the questions, comments, feedback that we get from the webinars, are there certain things that people focused on that they want us to talk about? What I saw the biggest interest in was what to do about these high dollar out-of-network claims. And comment came in and said separating high dollar claims from other claims. More and more brokers now are being told by certain brokers that are in the industry, even on pharmacy claims, etc., drug claims, do whatever you can do based on a certain dollar amount, decide what that dollar amount is, before those claims are adjudicated and processed at a discount, first pull those claims back, have the claim audited, have it done a clinical review on it, a legal review on it. Is it payable? Is it clinically necessary? Is there a medical necessity aspect to it? Then try to negotiate that claim on your own before, and if not, if you can't get a good deal, then submit the claim for a typical discount pricing as you normally would. And the reason we're seeing this is there are more and more of these out-of-network claims, air ambulance claims, Brady, for example. Just things that happen where I literally just had a client today, talked to a client today on the phone. They have a $700,000 air ambulance bill from, I think, Texas to Florida. $700,000 bill. Like, what's on that plane? Like, tell me what could be on that plane? I can't say things on camera, I guess, but what could possibly be on the plane that could make that ride worth almost $750,000? Brady?
I mean, maybe it's some kind of nuclear material. I don't know. Air Force One.
Would Air Force One cost $750,000 to take a ride from Florida to
It probably
Texas?
would to Mar-a-Lago to Texas. I think it probably would. But
So what do you think we're spending Mar-a-Lago to Texas? If Trump put on his hat, left his golf resort in Mar-a-Lago, got on the plane. I mean, but then you're including Secret Service. I'm talking about just the plane
That's
ride.
true.
What's the plane ride cost?
I think we did this study one time, actually, the per mile reimbursement. We wrote a letter actually disputing a provider's bill, and I forget what the amount was, but Air Force One costs like 10 times what the typical 747 costs to operate. But a bill that high sounds like they're using the Air Force One billing rate instead of what's reasonable.
Right. And I'm assuming they're not flying at the supersonic speed.
No.
Right? I mean, it's still a normal, typical 747 distance and how long it would take. Anyways, the reason I bring it up is there are two major ways that people handle out-of-network claims. One is either A, they're tying it to reference-based pricing, which is fine. So you could do reference-based pricing on out-of-network claims, put any number you want on it, or you could use a wrap network. And there are a bunch of wrap networks out there, some good, some bad. It just depends on what you're interested in, who you like working with. So those are the two ways you can do it. But how you do those two things is gonna really change the amount of success you'll have in regards to implementing and having the right approach and the right amount of savings. So let me use the first example when I talked about out-of-network tied to Medicare pricing. It's easy to put language in the plan doc that says Medicare plus 140, right? Good. It's easy to get the claim repriced using a repricer at Medicare 140. Fine. Where many administrators and carriers and payers get it wrong is there's nothing there on the patient support piece, the patient advocacy piece. When a patient does get balance bill, what do you do then? How about let's use that $700,000 stop loss? The $700,000 air ambulance claim. If you pay that at Medicare plus 150, and then a year goes by, and then there's a balance bill. Brady, you're the stop loss guy. How much stop loss protection are you going to get then?
None.
Why not?
You're almost certainly outside the terms of the contract.
You've already passed the policy date. So what you need to do in those situations are keep those claims open. So what happens many times is all these employers and brokers have this great idea to have reference-based pricing language on out-of-network claims, yet they don't resolve the balance billing issues. They don't resolve the patient advocacy issues. They don't get sign-off on the claims, and they don't resolve any or ensure that stop loss is going to be there to protect them regardless of the situation. There's an alternative to that, and that's something that we do at FIA is our FIA Unwrap product where you are getting sign-off on those claims. You are getting stop loss carriers to keep the claim open so that if you are paying a claim at Medicare plus 150, you can be rest assured that 3 years down the road, you're not going to be balance billed or sued for $3 million. That's number one. Number two, wrap networks. Now, I could see why on an out-of-network, which roughly, I want people to guess. Feel free to let us know what you think. Brady, what percentage of all claims, for all of our clients, are out-of-network claims? Let's see if he gets this. If he doesn't know this answer by now, it's pathetic.
It's very low. I think it's about 10 or 13%.
No.
No. Okay.
The fact that you don't know that, Ron,
We'll have to add that
I wish
part
you were
out.
here. It's embarrassing that he does not know the out-of-network claims on average are 7% of all claims are out-of-network
It's
claims.
off by 3. I mean,
So that's a big deal. That's a lot of money. That's a large number of claims. So 7% of all claims are out of network. Some of those claims are $300. Some are $500. You don't want to do Medicare plus pricing on all those claims. So what happens is some people decide, you know what, I'm going to use a wrap network. But the problem with wraps is the discounts obviously aren't as big. If you have 7% of your claims going to a wrap, even if you think you're getting 40, 50% off bill charges on your primary network, you might be only getting 20 to 30% on your wrap network. So you're not really getting a lot of bang for your buck.
Right.
So the opportunity there, and I want to talk about this a little bit, is with the wrap network contracts, are you required, Brady, to use them every time? So, for example, I have a primary Blue Cross Blue Shield network. By the way, at FIA, we have a Blue Cross Blue Shield rental network that's administrated by our administrator. So we have Blue Cross Blue Shield access. That's what we utilize. We have to use Blue Cross Blue Shield for in-network claims, but we don't have to use them for out-of-network claims. So on our wrap network, does a plan or a TPA have to utilize the wrap when they sign that wrap network contract?
No.
Why not?
Well, the point of the wrap is that they get to choose which claims they want to pass through the wrap. It's the access-only piece of it.
Bingo. So he listens. It's an access-only piece. So the key thing about wraps is you can actually say, you know what, I'm going to stop, I'm going to have any claim over $100,000. Up to that point, let's apply the discount, or $10,000 or $20,000. But you as the administrator, you as the plan fiduciary have a duty to be prudent with plan assets. To me, there's a duty to look at these claims, decide, pull them out. Do I want to do a clinical review? Do I want to do a legal review? Is this medically necessary? Can I negotiate the claim based on the language in the plan document? They say the language in the plan document has been raised to maximum allowable. So the point is, the number of comments we received from brokers and administrators yesterday, sorry, take that back. The number of comments that we received from brokers and administrators recently or from our webinar as it relates to what can you do about out-of-network claims hits a chord with me, because every single day, folks, we literally see $100,000 claims and up paid at 90 cents on the dollar, 100 cents on the dollar. Some of those claims don't even fit the mold of the wrap, and they're just paid at 100%. And none of our clients are aware of it. We make them aware of it, but guess what, Brady? It's too late. So that's my rant for today. If you're looking at options on what to do about out-of-network claims, feel free to contact me directly, arusso@fiagroup.com, or just go right to Brady. Doesn't make a difference, or just email us at socialmedia@fiagroup.com. Just find a way to get me, and trust me, I'll respond. So that's my rant. Brady, what do you got on the table?
Yeah, so I know this also was a big deal yesterday in the webinar. We talked a lot about association health plans. We talked about sort of what's happening to the ACA, and I used the reference of a Jenga tower, and I wish we had one here. Maybe we'll bring one in next time, just to show the pieces coming out one by one, and eventually I think what's going to happen is the whole tower will collapse.
We could use Ron's trinkets, because none of
I don't
these
know that he would like that.
Like, I mean, imagine if I broke this right now. I mean, he'd lose his mind. So you see Ron's Patriot, Ron's. Are they the Bears at Cornell?
I think, yeah.
Why does he have one eye? Is one eye just closed? Well, I never knew that bears can blink like that.
Did not know that.
And Mr. Met. I mean, literally the three loser organizations. I mean, I'm just jealous of the Patriots, but these other are not. I mean, is Cornell really Ivy League? I mean, if somebody told you, oh, I'm going to Cornell, I mean, that's like going to a state school, right? I mean, what's the difference?
It says you didn't get into Columbia, basically.
It's like I didn't get into Harvard, Yale. It's like the B side of Ivy, right? It's like, oh, this is the hits on the A side. I'm going to flip it over, and this is the B side track. I mean, isn't that Cornell? Sorry, Ron.
I think so.
And I don't know what this is.
That's some kind of paper.
Exactly. This is what people that go to Cornell create. And that is part of your thesis. Anyways, keep going, Brady. So the Jenga pieces.
Right, so the Jenga pieces. So what's happening is literally every week at this point, there's a new story about funding being slashed or funding being frozen for the ACA. But I think the biggest block of all is we got to talk about what could happen in this lawsuit challenging the ACA itself. And we talked about this before in previous webinars, where you have essentially 18 states led by Texas who said, all right, look, we get last year that the Congress essentially eliminated the individual mandate. And their argument is, without the mandate, the rest of the law has to go. That's not severable from the rest of the law. That the whole point of the ACA was it only worked because you were forcing people to buy insurance. They're arguing that now that you don't have that, the rest of it should go. And of course now, with this new nominee who could sway the court's balance into a 5-4 majority, if that kind of case reaches the Supreme Court, next year. It could be as early as that.
So
What's likely to happen?
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that kind of case will go to the Supreme Court next year?
I think it's
Again,
likely.
we're putting that Brady. Brady's got to tell us what he thinks. Usually he's wrong, but so that's good. He's a prognosticator. Let us know what you think, Brady.
I think so. I think that the administration's been frustrated in the last 2 years by failing to repeal, really, the ACA. They've done all they could administratively to chip away at different requirements of it. Obviously, with the tax bill, they had some success, but they really want this law to just crumble. It's pretty obvious, and this lawsuit, I think, gives them a good chance to do that. And now, a would-be Justice Kavanaugh, we'll see how he's likely to vote, but he's no fan of the ACA.
So just so I understand, so folks that don't know in the legal world, if somebody owes me $100,000, when I take them to court, you're suing them for the $100,000. You can't go to court and go, "Hey, I'll take 10." At the end of the day, this is the lien. That's what you owe me. So when you go to court, the judgment's either you win or you lose, right? There's no well, you sort of win. But that's when you try to make negotiations on the side. Same thing with the ACA. So you're telling me this would go to the Supreme Court and they would rule, again, let's say killing the ACA, right?
Sure.
That would kill the unlimited benefits. That would be gone. That would kill the pre-existing condition exclusion.
Sure.
That would kill keeping kids who are lazy, just smoking weed all day at their parents' home in the basement on the plant until they're 26. Those things would die with it, correct?
They would, yeah.
Is there a possibility that the Supreme Court would say, yeah, we don't like the ACA, but we like these three things?
That's possible.
Is it?
Well,
really? I mean, I would think that you were going to say, no, it's either there or it's dead.
what I was going to say is I think you'll have states that will step up.
But that's
right?
different. I'm talking about the Supreme Court ACA. It's either legal or it's not.
Yeah, with that I agree.
Now you'd have 50 states.
Correct.
And a particular state could say, like California, hey, if you want an insurance product here in California, you have to cover these three things. You have to have these three things in the plan.
Correct. And that, of course, for our industry wouldn't really matter because we'd have preemption. So
Right.
Under ERISA.
So we'd go back to the days of pre-Obama where you could have $1 million max.
You could, yeah. You could see lifetime limits imposed. You could see individual limits on particular services imposed. But I think, and here's the wrinkle here, is that the things you mentioned are very popular. They were then, they are now.
Do people want that? I mean, think about it. Like if we went back now to our 9 million lives that we represent, and we said, hey, guys, we have great news. You could put maximum limitations in regards to how much you're willing to spend for your employees' care. Are employers going to jump all over that again? Stop-loss carriers might. But could that create a whole new wave of issues?
I think so. And I think that was what the original framework of repeal and replace was, to eventually replace the ACA, was something that probably would have those popular provisions in it.
Right.
And if you look at, interestingly enough, if you look at the association health plans and the laws that do apply to them, not surprisingly, the requirement that you keep kids on their plan until age 26, that's applying to AHPs. That you can't, the requirement that you cover preventive care without charging consumers out of pocket, that stays. But essential health benefits, that's gone. So
Right.
I think if the ACA is ultimately struck down sometime next year or the year after based on a new court, I think you will see a Republican Congress try to replace it with something that's more tolerable, I think.
I mean, we talked about it on the webinar. I mean, the fact is, let's just use cancer. It has literally affected, I'm sure everybody listening or watching this knows someone who's either died or had to deal with a serious form of cancer. So if you allowed pre-existing exclusion for pre-existing condition exclusions to come back,
It's a mouthful.
bottom line is many people who are cured now from cancer would be denied coverage under a Blue Cross plan or a Cigna plan, whatever. It doesn't make a difference, right? You're a carrier, or you're a self-employed. Go, yeah, you beat cancer, right? I'm happy that you beat that cancer, but guess what? I'm too nervous about you getting it again, and I don't want to cover you. You'd be allowed to do that. I can't imagine that being okay with most voters. Once you give something to someone, once Ron gave this little Pat Patriot to his son, can you imagine him walking in there in the middle of the night with his son sleeping in his bed and Ron just pulling it off the table and saying, I'm taking it back? Probably wouldn't work. It doesn't work with my kids. I can't give them an ice cream and halfway through go, oh, that's enough licks.
Right, yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Once you give someone something to someone, it's like the first time you have sprinkles on your ice cream. I'm bringing up all these ice cream metaphors because, folks, it's beautiful outside and we're stuck here. Maybe we should get some ice cream for lunch today.
Yeah, we should do that.
But the point is, I agree with you. I think striking down the ACA, why I can see why I'm for it. I can see the backlash and the issues that result from it. So, but as a lawyer, maybe that's good for our business, right? It's more money. It's more revenue generation. It's more opportunity to create new plan designs, et cetera. But I could definitely see from a real world perspective, not a legal world perspective, how this can hurt our industry overall as well.
Yeah, and I think the key will be if there's a replacement plan, then that's a whole new plan for us to have to navigate and for plans to navigate. And we're, of course, right there to help everyone do that.
Well, Brady, I'll tell you, even with Ron not being here, I think this was pretty enlightening. We had a great conversation. I think Brady needs to, bring your personality out more. I mean, you got some cool stuff there.
I do,
Let people know how cool you really are. I mean, you're never going to be as cool as the president, but, feel free to let your light shine through, Brady.
I'll work on that, Powder.
So on behalf of Brady Bizarro, myself, Adam Russo, thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you so much for empowering your plans with the FIA Group. Have a great day.